If you find yourself procrastinating regularly, avoiding tasks and responsibilities, or maybe you have a bunch of unfinished projects just laying around, you're not lazy, you're not incompetent, and you're not a bad person. Society often tells us that our brain should work in a specific way, and if somebody's brain works different, somehow we're broken and we need to be fixed. I dealt with the struggle of trying to meet society standards for most of my life. And I was so desperate for a solution that I even went out and joined the United States Marine Corps, thinking if anybody's going to be able to fix me, it'll be these guys. There are plenty of good reasons to join the military. That's not one of them. And I ended up performing better in the Marine Corps than I anticipated. But what I realize now is the Marines have a culture of excessive and hands on accountability. So I didn't really build a good foundation of discipline. I built a foundation of fear of consequences. I know this because when I left the Marine Corps, all of that discipline that I thought I had happened to disappear. I fell back into old habits of procrastinating and starting things but not finishing them. But one thing the Marine Corps did give me is a no quit attitude. So last year, rather than continuing to search for a solution, I decided that I'd try to make one. I did some research on the human brain, human behavior, and procrastination itself. Luckily, at the time, I was working in a position as an academic coach at a local university. I ended up working with well over 600 students, so I got a lot of insight into different types of procrastination and where procrastination actually comes from. Through all of this research, I found four root causes of procrastination itself: uncertainty, disinterest, overwhelm, and fear. Then my job became to find some strategies to address those root causes. And it turned out to be pretty simple. If I was uncertain about something, then I try to clarify it. If I was disinterested in something, then I try to make it more interesting. If I was overwhelmed by something, then I break it down into smaller parts or try to simplify it. And if I was scared of something, then I would try to reframe that fear or use humor to combat the fear itself. I still needed an easier way to interrupt procrastination in the moment, so I developed this interruption exercise. The first thing you do is you interrupt the procrastination by doing something like changing your body language. Procrastination is a fear based response, so if we take more powerful body language, then that can get us out of that procrastination state. Another thing we can do is change our physical location. So, heading into another room or even getting out of your house and going to a coffee shop or a library can be pretty powerful. The next step in that is to develop a plan. So now that we know the four root causes of procrastination, that's when we develop a plan to address those root causes themselves. And then after that, we take one solid action towards whatever it was we were procrastinating. This doesn't have to be a big action. If it's a presentation you're putting together, maybe you just do the title slide. Or if you can't address something in the moment, maybe you pull out your phone and set a calendar reminder for when you can address it. So now I have something to address procrastination in the short term, but I still needed something a little bit more to help me maintain clarity and direction throughout the week. So I developed this 21-minute weekly planning system. This is something that I do once a week. I just pick a day, usually it's Sunday, and I spend 21 minutes executing this plan. The first thing I do is I reflect on the previous week. One thing that a lot of people miss out on is they miss out on the lessons that they learn day by day because they never take any time to actually reflect on those lessons and analyze the situations that they've been put in. So I spend about 7 minutes doing that. The second thing I do is I spend another 7 minutes analyzing and assessing my current situation. So, what resources do I currently have? I usually look at my budget. What opportunities might I have? This is when I hop on maybe LinkedIn or explore my social media platforms to see what opportunities might be coming up. And I also take a look at what potential threats or challenges might arise throughout the week so I can develop some contingency plans to address those. And the last thing that I do is I spend 7 minutes committing. And what this really means is I develop at least six actions, tangible actions that I can take throughout the week. I choose six because that's about one per day. And I commit to prioritizing those actions and getting those done by the end of the week. And then I also develop one, what I call a momentum action, which is really just a larger action that can help propel me towards my goals even a little bit faster.